My husband and I were empty nesters. We had raised 2 kids, and they had gone off on their own, and I had a granddaughter, Kayla, that we would take care of on the weekends and load her up with sugar and spoil her and then send her back on her way. It was July 2014. It was the weekend that I was supposed to take my 5-year-old granddaughter to Disney World. And we were so excited about this, to have that experience with her. And apparently on that Wednesday night, she, along with several other children, were removed from their home because the youngest child, who was 17 months old, ingested meth. It was in a spoon that was in the bathroom. And so instead of my granddaughter going with me to Disney World that weekend, she went to foster care. So immediately I called my husband and my son, and we went to the CPS office, and that's when I realized that my world would never be the same again. I realized when this happened that I wasn't alone. It took a little while. Eventually, I got connected with Kentucky Youth Advocates and the Kinship Families Coalition of Kentucky, and realized that the statistics across the state are pretty staggering. I mean, 96,000 kids in Kentucky are living with relatives other than their biological parents. I mean, just think about that, 96,000, and that's just an estimate. And what I wanted to do was to take my experience that I went through in the courts and with what happened with my grandkids, and I wanted to see a change. KYA reached out to me and said, how can I help? They put out media releases about what I was doing, and I got to write a blog about why it was so important and share excerpts of those stories. They gave me opportunities where I can talk to legislators, and then I was invited to testify in committee, which then expanded media coverage on what was going on, which then further convinced more legislators and the public about why kinship care was so important. It was like a ripple in a pond that just kind of spread out, and the message just grew and grew and grew. Through the different types of legislation and changes that Kentucky Youth Advocates does every day, it helps keep kids out of foster care. It helps provide better supports for the kids when they're living with their grandmothers and their great-grandmothers that are struggling financially just to get by paycheck to paycheck. I've seen legislation in the last couple of years working with Kentucky Youth Advocates where now a neighbor can be a fictive kin, and they can take that child in instead of that child going to foster care. It's these types of things that are happening every day that make things better for the kids of Kentucky, and that only happens through organizations like Kentucky Youth Advocates. My grandkids would not have had the opportunities to help share the stories of so many others that have been through what they have without Kentucky Youth Advocates, and it doesn't get any better than that.